So Labour have been accused of vote rigging and are facing legal action by Sam Tarry, the left-wing MP who was deselected last year. Now, at the time of the deselection, he claimed there were inconsistencies which prompted attacks that he was taking lessons from the Trump playbook and he was a conspiracist. Well, it now seems there could be grounds for a legal case. The Labour Party is facing legal action from Angela Rayner's former partner over alleged voter fraud. Lawyers acting for Sam Tarry, the MP for Ilford, have written to the party over claims that an online voting system has been used to disadvantage left-wing candidates. Mr Tarry, whose relationship with Labour's deputy leader ended last year, claims the anonymous voter system was used to harm his unsuccessful attempt to be reselected for the general election. Anonymous voter is a software for holding online votes that is widely used by the local Labour Party branches to decide who will be their candidate for the next election. So Anonymous voter is a fairly new voting system that was brought in during the pandemic, a system that other political parties don't use. And the system has zero transparency, and that's what this legal case is about. And Tarry wants to force Labour to publish the records, which is fair. I mean, I find it strange that it wasn't on record before. But it's not just Sam Tarry. Another lefty, Beth Winters, who was also deselected, has been looking at taking legal action too. Meanwhile, a second Labour MP, Beth Winter, who represents Sydenham Valley, has been exchanging legal letters with the party over how anonymous voter was used in her selection race. Miss Winter sought to become the candidate in a newly created Welsh seat last summer, but lost. Her lawyers wrote to the party raising concerns about the use of the anonymous voter system both before and after the result. Now, here's the interesting part. Both Tarry and Winters won more votes in person and mail-in ballots against their right-wing rivals. But suddenly, both lost big, or at least big in Tarry's case, through the anonymous voter system. Now, I find it a very strange coincidence that two left-wingers who were deselected lost through this system, but those that cast their ballot in person or in a more traditional way supported them. Look, I can't say that there was vote rigging. I don't have the evidence, or I can't legally say that. I can't say that votes were literally pulled and added to a particular candidate through this system. But what I can say is that I wouldn't be surprised if Labour were found to be rigging elections to kick out the left. The party has now, for years, taken undemocratic moves to impose right-wing candidates over the left. And what I can also say is that this system is open to rigging. So if someone wanted to rig the process, someone would be able to do so. Now, a non-voter, according to the Telegraph article, doesn't give access to independent third-party tellers, and the regional Labour figures who oversee the vote are the only ones who can see it, and they can see who has voted in real time. There's been complaints before in local selections that certain factions, i.e. the right, have had access to membership data whilst left-wing campaigns have been shut out. Now, obviously, membership data is incredibly important for individual campaigns because they use this data to target potential votes. So if one faction has this information and another faction doesn't, that's an unfair vote, okay? It's dodgy. So there's already been past misconduct, shall I say, from internal selections before. Now, this anonymous vote allows them to do exactly that because those who have access to the software can see who has and hasn't voted, and that's crucial information to use if you want to target voters. Now, check this out. In one selection, a moderate candidate won just 10% of the in-person vote, but 62% of the anonymous voter online votes, according to a breakdown shared by local party figures. Now, I'm not sure who that is specifically, or what particular campaign, but I find that discrepancy very odd. Look, some CLPs only have a few hundred people voting. So if the mood among a particular CLP was with one candidate, broadly, and then for anonymous online voting to suddenly have it overwhelmingly the other way, I just think that's pretty suspicious. Now, we do have the breakdown of both Tarry's and Winter's results. Here you can see that Sam Tarry won 57% of the in-person votes and only 35% for Sam Tarry in the anonymous voter system. Jazz Athwal, who beat Tarry, won 43% of the vote in person and then won 60% through the anonymous voter and postal vote, which is a big disparity. Now, it's a bit closer for Beth Winters, but it's the same story. The vote is flipped. So you can see she won 56% of the postal votes and 47% from anonymous voter, and her rival Gerald Jones got 43% in postal votes and 53% from anonymous voter. Plus, this system allows for people to commit voter fraud, as explained in this next paragraph. A third area of concern is that members who do not receive the email are able to generate a special code to vote, which can be communicated to them over the phone if needed. In theory, codes can be generated and even cast by those running the votes. Again, any data about how many codes have been generated and for whom are not routinely published. Again, obviously, it would be unwise for me to accuse people of impersonating a member and voting themselves legally. And again, there's no evidence. But if somebody wanted to, that could happen. And I don't think it is unreasonable to suggest that some in the party may have done that. Again, not accusing anyone, but it's possible. Now, of course, the party denies all of this. They said that, well, they're only complaining because they lost. And then said, and I quote, "We have full confidence in the integrity of both selection processes and the use of a non-voter." However, despite Labour saying, well, we've done nothing wrong, the Met Police have launched an investigation into potential computer misuse in a selection process in Croydon, and I think that is definitely worth mentioning. This is really serious. We know the party has spent the last 4 years trying to rid anyone remotely left-wing, but this is now potentially a criminal issue where political factions may have engaged in voting fraud. If found true, this is an affront to democracy. Yet it doesn't seem like that there's much bother in the media over something so serious. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and drop a comment. It's good for the algorithm and I'm interested in what you have to say. If you're not already subscribed, please do and hit the notification bell. You can also support this channel by becoming a member for 99p per month. And if you're feeling a little more generous, then you can support us on Patreon for £3 or £5 per month. This channel for a while has been uploading every single day, and it's quite a lot of work that is still voluntary and scheduled around my paid work. But I have so much ambition, expect in the future to see more variety in content, such as interviews and Vox Pops. But I want this to be a fully fledged media organisation where not only is this my full-time job, but to have multiple people working for Turn Left. I like to see a live show in the future, more content that delves into culture, history, and much more. But that can only be done if there's money. So please, if you can, support us in any way that's in your capacity. And thank you to existing members, subscribers, and patrons. See you next time.